London, a modest home night. The faint flicker of a candle casts long shadows on the walls of a small room. Mary, a woman in her early 30s, sits by the window, pulling the thick blackout curtains shut. Outside, the eerie sound of air raid sirens begins to wail, filling the streets with dread. Mary, to herself. They're coming again. She looks toward her son, Tommy, a bright-eyed 10-year-old boy, clutching a small toy plane. He glances up at her, fear evident in his eyes. Tommy. Are the Germans coming, Mum? Mary, forcing a smile. They won't get us, love. The RAF will keep them at bay. But let's get down to the shelter, just in case, eh? Tommy nods, gripping her hand tightly. They hurry outside, where the sky is unusually clear, too clear. The distant hum of planes becomes louder, sending a ripple of unease through the streets. Neighbors dash to shelters, eyes scanning the heavens in fear. Extension London street night. The once bustling city is shrouded in darkness. All lights are extinguished, save for the moonlight reflecting on the River Thames. Mr. Higgins, an older man who lives next door, waves at Mary as she and Tommy descend into the shelter. Mr. Higgins. Another raid, Mary. They won't let up, will they? Mary, grimly. No, they won't. Inside the shelter, cramped but familiar, the families huddle together. The air is tense, but they speak in whispers, trying to comfort each other. A baby cries softly in the corner, and Tommy buries his face in Mary's lap. Suddenly, the deep, thunderous booming of anti-aircraft guns pierces the silence. The shelter shakes. Dust falls from the ceiling. The attack has begun. Extension sky above London night. The Luftwaffe bombers are flying in tight formation. Below them, the city sprawls, a tempting target. But in the distance, British Spitfires and Hurricanes roar toward the German planes, determined to defend their homeland. Pilot, over radio. Spitfire Squadron, this is it. Hold your positions. Engage the bombers. For Britain. The pilots grit their teeth and dive into the fray. Explosions light up the sky as tracer fire streaks through the night, the British fighters tearing into the German formation. The Luftwaffe retaliates, sending shells screaming toward the RAF planes. The sky above London becomes a fierce battlefield, a war of iron, speed, and fire. Int. Shelter night. Mary holds Tommy close as the bombs begin to fall. The ground trembles violently, the unmistakable thud of destruction above them. She closes her eyes, whispering a silent prayer. Tommy, quietly. Mum. I'm scared. Mary, gently. It's all right, love. We're safe here. It's just noise. It'll pass. The sounds of the bombs continue. Above, glass shatters, buildings crumble, and the city burns. But the shelter holds, its walls thick enough to withstand the worst of the destruction. The hours drag on, each explosion more harrowing than the last. Yet, in the shelter, the people endure, resilient, hopeful. Extension London dawn. The sun rises over a wounded city. Smoke lingers in the air, and fires smolder in the distance. London's streets are strewn with debris, broken buildings, shattered windows, remnants of the night's assault. The people of London emerge from their shelters cautiously, blinking in the morning light, assessing the damage. Mary steps out with Tommy by her side. Their neighborhood, though battered, stands. The smell of burning fills the air, and the sound of emergency services attending to the wounded and the dying echoes through the streets. Mary, looking around, solemn. They tried, but we're still here. Tommy looks up at her, wide-eyed, unsure of what to say. But he sees it in her face, the defiance, the unbreakable spirit. London may be bombed, battered, bruised, but it has not fallen. In the distance, a Spitfire roars overhead, a reminder that the battle is far from over. But for now, the morning sun brings a brief respite, a fragile peace in the midst of war. Tommy, quietly. Mum, do you think we'll win? Mary looks at the sky, eyes full of determination. Mary. We will, love. We'll win. We have to. These films have been created to highlight the powerful features of Polyspeaks for You, South Africa's leading accessibility software. Learn more at www.polyspeaksforyou.co.za. We invite you to support this meaningful dyslexic initiative, crafted and developed by an individual who personally understands the challenges of dyslexia.